It's not easy being a pastor's wife. Let's find out Lucy's experience. So when you're getting to know your man, when you're getting to know Kimani, at what point did you find out he is called to be a pastor?
Okay, but I got to know that he's called into ministry few months after we got into our relationship.
Yes.
That was back in 2015. Yeah.
So after you got into the relationship, that's when you
That's
find
when
out.
I found out that he's called into ministry.
When you're growing up, were you like, oh God, I want to marry a pastor?
No, that was not my dream.
That was not your dream, eh?
No.
Yeah. So how's it been being a pastor's wife?
Okay, I can say it has been tough, especially to adapt into the changes, because, okay, I knew he can preach, of which I also preach, but I never thought I would come to a point of time to start a church. That is something that I never thought in my life.
And starting a church has a lot of demands.
It has a lot of demand. There is so much that is required of him. Yeah, it is so demanding.
When you say so much required of him, what exactly do you mean?
Like much of his time, especially now that it is his own ministry, much of his time, his prayer time, he requires a lot of to invest in prayer, finances,
Yes.
being that it is a private ministry, a lot of finances has to be diverted there. Yeah, he has to be committed into it.
So what are these demands that you feel people are putting on pastors or your husband that are maybe challenging to your marriage?
Okay, sometimes we have to accommodate some people even in our own personal life because their needs also sometimes come to be our needs also. Because, for example, if someone's child is sick, you don't only require to give that person your prayers, but also your finances might also be required because we are also trying to do ministry in a diverse way.
Sometimes people use pastors where they know a pastor can easily release some money.
Yeah. There is that, of course, being a man of God, especially for him, he has a big heart. So he can give everything that he has in the name of ministry. Yeah. So sometimes he's taken advantage of.
He's taken advantage of. And then what do you say when that happens?
Okay, sometimes you get hurt as a human being because as much as we are pastors, we're also human. Sometimes I get hurt. Sometimes I get to a point of even telling him, I think this was not the right thing to be done. I think this was not how we should have handled it. I think maybe you give some more money than I thought. Yeah. Sometimes get to that point.
You mentioned about him being taken advantage of. What kind of a specific example can you give?
I can give one example of a man who had a family issue. They didn't have food to eat. And he called the pastor. He said he actually slept hungry. So we have a small shamba where he had to go to the shamba, harvest the maize and take to him, which at some point I felt this is not the right thing to do because we also have family ourselves. We have a mother, he has a mother and a father. So I felt we have gone too far to this particular person. I think we could have, as much as it's not only prayers that are required, but I think you have gone too far even to help this person. Because actually we came to know later on that this person was actually lying. He just took advantage of the pastor because he knew there is some, actually he was expecting money, only that the pastor took maize because he had said he had slept hungry.
So he got offended?
He got offended, yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Okay, I felt hurt because I felt that we are going too much with this ministry. If we had 3-4 people like that in the ministry, then I think it can really drain us. Yeah.
Have you ever gotten to a place where you're trying to give advice to your husband and then he doesn't take the advice seriously or like, you don't know, you're not a pastor?
Okay, I don't think we have gotten to that point because for him he's very listening. And he really values my advice and my input, especially in ministry, as much as I am not a pastor, but he values what I tell him. So sometimes even if you not take action immediately, he'll just come at some point of time and tell me, what you told me I think was right, and I think I did wrong. Actually, at that particular time, he apologized and said, I think I could have listened to you because I think I did the wrong thing. So he's very listening.
Okay. You have a young child.
Yeah.
Do you feel like sometimes the whole ministry thing also plays a role in being a distance between being parents and also somebody in ministry?
It's true. We sometimes feel at the distance, especially of the father. When sometimes when she was 6 months old, he had gone for 21 days of prayer and fasting. And when he was coming back, the daughter could not remember him at all. Actually, she tried to take her and she resisted because she cannot remember her. But now things have tried to improve. Nowadays, when she goes for prayer and fasting, he has to make sure he comes back in the weekends.
Has there ever been a point in time that the ministry has brought in a distance when it comes to being a parent to the child?
Yeah, there has been some cases where maybe especially of the father, where once he takes off and he goes for prayer and fasting, and once he's coming back, the daughter cannot be able to remember him. But now things have changed because once he goes now for the prayer and fasting, he tries to come back on the weekends. so that he can at least have time with us.
How long does the prayer and fasting happen?
The prayer mostly goes for 21 days. Yeah.
Okay. You sometimes wonder, why can prayer and fasting happen in the house?
I try to understand, having been that I'm also born again.
Yes.
Now in the house, of course, we distract him. There are a lot of distractions. We are cooking. Sometimes we are cooking chapatis and he's not eating. So it is so tempting in the house. So we understand him going for in the prayer center to pray from there.
Okay. You also work.
Yeah, I also work.
Has there been a pressure when it comes to also your time and being a wife and a parent?
Yeah, there comes a time where you are so pressurized. You are so busy during the day. You get home when you're so tired, so you don't even get time with your child. You don't get time with your husband. You just go and sleep. So I can say it is pressurizing everything, especially work.
Do you feel people understand the life of a pastor?
Some do, some do not. Some do not understand the case that we are also human, and some are able to understand. Yeah.
What are those things that you feel like are human, like that people just don't get?
One of the things that people don't get is that I am human, and for example, the same way that a normal human being can get angry, I can also get angry. Then the same way that a normal human being can get offended, I can also get offended by something.
And lastly, is there pressure to playing a certain role as a pastor's wife? You're held at a certain higher standard than other wives.
Yeah, there is that pressure. There is that perspective of people that once you're a pastor's wife, there is a lot of responsibilities that are bestowed on you. For example, now family matters now. All the women in the church thinks that you can handle their cases in their marriages better than anyone else. So there is that. As much as I am very young, especially in my marriage, I'm only 3 years, the others who come even with 20 years in their marriage, and they think that you are able to sort them out. And you realize that in marriage, experience is so much required. So you just try to sort things out.
Has there ever been a time whereby there was a disconnect between the father and the child because of the ministry?
Yeah, there has been a disconnect, especially I gave an example of 6 months. When she was 6 months, that is our daughter. When the father came back from prayer and fasting, the daughter could not remember him at all. So what we did at that particular time, he had now, once he goes for prayer and fasting, he has to come back during the weekend so that he can have time with the daughter. Of course, it was hurting for as a mother to see the child cannot remember her father, but now I just had to understand things.
Okay. What about the disconnect between you as a couple? Because you could be existing legally married, but you feel like,
Sometimes I feel so lonely, especially I live in a very big house. So I'm just me and my house help. And you know, of course, you cannot talk things with your house help. So sometimes I feel so alone. I work from home. So you can imagine I'm just there in the house all the day long. And even at night, I'm alone. So I feel so lonely sometimes. But now I just have to understand things. He has just to serve the ministry.
Do you tell him that sometimes, but how do you call him? Honey, baby, sweetheart, pastor?
I call him darling.
You call him darling?
Yeah.
So do you tell him sometimes, like, darling, I feel lonely?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I do not. Yeah. I get the confidence sometimes to tell him that I feel so alone, but sometimes I just keep quiet.
How does he react?
Okay, sometimes he feel like I'm not understanding him, but of course sometimes he'll understand. But mostly are the times that you feel like you're not understanding that I am in the ministry. So.
Have there been instances where even you as working so hard and then you get the family money, then the family money goes towards some other need outside for somebody else, yet you have needs for the family?
Yeah, sometimes it happens, especially for his money. Once he comes in, it goes to the ministry. So it remains with what I have. I just have to cater the needs of the family. And sometimes it becomes so straining.
It's been very straining.
Yeah.
Does that affect communication between you two?
Yeah, sometimes it affects communication. Sometimes you find we are not in so good terms. But what I love about him is that he's so quick to notice his mistake and he apologizes and we just sort things out.
Okay. Do you also apologize?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah, I must. Once I realize that I have done a mistake, then I have to.
Yeah. You also sometimes feel like you don't understand.
You don't understand where I'm going through. Yeah, as a human being, you get to that point where you feel this person is not understanding that all that I am getting is just going to the family and you don't have anything left for yourself as a woman. Of course, I'm a lady. Is that you feel I need to have something for my mother, I have to something for my brother and such a thing.
Do you sometimes feel like it would have been easier had you not married a pastor?
No. I never got to that point
Yes.
because I feel he's the best man for me. I think love conquers all things. So even if he has that responsibility, at least I was able to blend in because he understands me and I understand him.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lucy. Thank you so much for allowing us to have this conversation with you and for giving us space into your personal life. It has been a pleasure speaking with you.